When is it finally time to throw in the towel and say I am done working during my pregnancy? Today, I'm going to give you a few signs to watch for in your pregnancy to know it is time to stop working and get ready for baby to come. How do I know all of this? Hello, I'm Hillary. I'm the pregnancy nurse. I've been a nurse since 1997, which included working during all 3 of my children's pregnancies. And yes, on my first one, I worked right up until the day before. I had to call in sick the morning of because I was like, is this labor? Because I don't think I can be a nurse on today. But I'm here experiencing a lot of different people being pregnant as well as my own pregnancies. And I think I'm going to have some good tips for you guys. And if you're not in the United States and you're like, I can't believe that your country makes you people work, this comment section is not for you, okay? We run things the way that we do in the United States. Am I out there working to promote change? Yes. Do I email my senators and my congressmen to make a change for federal maternity benefits? Yes, because I actually worked in a state, California, during my last 2 babies, and we're going to talk a little bit about how that was different than my first baby in Utah. Okay, so first off, why do people work during pregnancy? If you're from one of those countries that are like, why do you have to work at all during your pregnancy? First off, a lot of people really enjoy it. And actually, on my first baby, I'm really glad that I worked right up until I had him. I felt pretty darn good. I mean, not so good at the end of a 12-hour shift, but I felt pretty great, and it sort of filled the time instead of me being at home feeling anxious and wondering when he was going to come. And of course, a lot of people need the money, they need the benefits, they need all these different things that they get from their job. That is why people work during pregnancy. And I'm right there with you. I worked during all 3 of mine, and we mostly needed the money, if I'm going to be honest. And that's probably why you're there too. I also enjoyed my work. I worked as a labor and delivery nurse. Hopefully you guys can tell that I really enjoy it. While we are here, kick counts are still something that you should be doing, even if you are working. I have some tips about how I did them I'm going to share at the very end of this video, so make sure that you're still doing your kick counts. I'm going to put the link down below on how to get my free kick count cheat sheet, because it is shocking how many providers still educate about kick counts wrong. Okay, so let's talk about the signs to stop working. The first one is high blood pressure. Now, high blood pressure can come just because of pregnancy. It doesn't mean that it's always situational, but a lot of times if your blood pressure is trending up, they're going to recommend that you stop working to see if it is work causing it or something else. Now, they might just say take a few days off of work or try and stay off your feet or whatever they're going to say, or it might be you are done, your blood pressure is just too high. So blood pressure is something that we watch at every single pregnancy visit, and it's important that we take it seriously. I see a lot of people in my comment section talking about, well, my blood pressure was just high at the doctor's office, but for the doctor, that's the only blood pressure that they see, and it's important that they take it seriously. Side note, there's 2 things that high blood pressure can mean. It can mean preeclampsia. I'm hoping to make a video about that one. If you want a video about preeclampsia, tell me down in the comments. It can also just be gestational hypertension, where your blood pressure rises without the signs of preeclampsia as well. The next reason is that the work required of you during your pregnancy is more than you can do. Now, this was ultimately me on my 3rd pregnancy. I got to around 30 weeks and pushing beds was just more than I could do. It was my 3rd pregnancy. I was tired, and I had state disability, which made a big difference in the money system. We're going to talk more about that. But if you feel like what you're required to do at work is just more than you can do, you may need to quit your job through the end of your pregnancy. And before you do that, honestly, early in pregnancy, I recommend meeting with your HR to see what your options are during pregnancy and ask them, if I have a problem during my pregnancy, what ends up happening? Do I have disability that can kick in? Are there other benefits that can kick in? How does all of that work if I have to get off of work early due to pregnancy? And right after you leave your HR, write your local congressmen and senators. Is that going to change during your pregnancy? Probably not. But if we all work to make a change, we can ultimately make a change that I think can be really good for the moms of the future. And for a lot of people, they've ultimately realized that the money they're making no longer outweighs the hardship that they are feeling during pregnancy. And that is valid. But I gotta say, for a lot of us out there, we have to keep working during our pregnancy. So if you find work painful, talk with your provider, see if there's anything they can recommend, like a maternity belt or physical therapy that can help make work more tolerable, because you need the money. Now, if you're having extreme stress or pain at work, that may be another reason why you need to leave work early. Kind of goes along with high blood pressure. But if you find your work extremely stressful and it's a constant thing, not like a one and done thing, then that can really be bad for both you and baby. Baby shouldn't be in a constant environment of stress during pregnancy, although small bouts of stress can actually be really good for them. So that's a reason to maybe stay working. Now, there may come in a time where your doctor says it's time to stop working, and that is a great sign that it is time to stop working. Of course, you don't have to just follow what they say. You can ask questions just like with anything in your pregnancy, but take it seriously. If they're saying it's time to stop working, there's probably a real reason why. And during your third trimester, I think it's great to start taking in that disability paperwork with you if that's something that your company or your state offers, so that you can have that filled out with your provider should the time come. Of course, another sign that you need to stop working is that you go into labor. All the teachers that I know are always like, I'm so worried my water's going to break while I'm standing in front of the class. I gotta say, I haven't heard of very many teachers whose water actually did break while they were in front of the class, but I think it's a concern for a lot of teachers, as you are usually the only adult in the room. But if you start to feel like you're going into labor, most workplaces want you to go home. Of course, in labor and delivery, they'll just be like, let's just get you on a monitor. And the final one I'm going to talk about is that your maternity leave is up. When I lived in California at 36 weeks of pregnancy, you were able to go on maternity leave. Everyone, regardless of their problems during pregnancy or whatever, could go off at 36 weeks, meaning you had that last month of pregnancy just to not work, which was absolutely amazing. However, we paid into that state disability fund every month through the whole time that we were working. So for some people, they don't feel like that's worth it. And for some people, they do feel like that's worth it. For me, I do feel like that's worth it. And it is something that your state could start doing as well. Remember, maternity leave can be offered at the employer level, it can be offered at the state level, and hopefully someday it can be offered at the federal level. So there are ways to enact change at any different area. Side note, in California, you also got 6 weeks of disability after you had your baby, 8 weeks if you had a C-section, and then on my third baby, I got another 6 weeks of FMLA that I actually split. So I went back to work 6 weeks after I had my baby. My husband stayed home during the summer with my baby, and then I took my extra 6 weeks of FMLA after he went back to school so that we could be home with a baby until she was almost 6 months old. And it was absolutely amazing. So glad we were able to do that. And again, it's because the state of California offered it. Now, some of you are out there thinking, can you work during pregnancy? It seems like just such a bad time to be working. And I'm here to tell you that, again, small amounts of stress, doing things during pregnancy, moving your body is so important during pregnancy. And sometimes you can do all that and get paid for it, which is amazing. So I think working during pregnancy can have a lot of benefits, including decreased anxiety from thinking about everything because you have work to think about, including moving your body and things like that. Work can really have positive benefits during your pregnancy, in addition to providing a great income for your family. And if you're wondering when is the best time to leave, I think that is a question to have with HR. Does your workplace or state or whatever offer you maternity benefits before baby is born? A lot of them only kick in once baby is born, but some workplaces allow you to leave a little bit early, or state disability might allow you to leave early as well. Now, while we're here, I wanted to give you some tips to make sure that working during pregnancy was as comfortable as possible. The first one is to make sure that you're taking breaks from whatever it is that you're doing every hour. So if you're there standing, make sure that you take some time to sit down. Hopefully your provider can offer this for you if you're something like a cashier. Or if you're sitting down, you need to get up every hour, use the restroom, get some water, things like that. Make sure that you're changing your position and you're not stuck in one place for too long. And you're going to want to make sure to stay hydrated. This is always one of my big tips, but making sure that you're getting enough water at work is important. Some of you might work in harsher environments where it's warm, or you're working in an office chair. Just make sure that you have a water bottle filled up and next to you while you're pregnant and working. This is a great thing for after baby's born too, especially if you're breastfeeding. You're going to especially want to make sure that you're hydrated. So get a water bottle that you absolutely love. I am an Owala girl. Now, another thing might be to consider if they will allow you to work from home. That could be a question that you have for your workplace. As a labor and delivery nurse, it was not an option for me to work at home. Hopefully that's not a surprise to you. And it might not be an option for a lot of you, but for some of you, you might be able to work at home your last few weeks of pregnancy. They might find that to be more acceptable because you're in those last few weeks of pregnancy. Talk with them and see if there's any ways that they can help support you during your pregnancy. And finally, stay in touch. Hopefully you have a good manager that wants you to be both a good employee, but also just a good human being and able to grow this baby in the way that all of us want you to be able to grow it. So stay in touch with your manager, tell them how you're feeling, all those different kinds of things. I think that is really important to keep the lines of communication open between both of you. Now, what are your rights as to working during pregnancy? It really varies depending on your workplace and your state. maybe your country. And so check with your local HR, Google it online. A lot of times there's advocates about pregnancy working in your specific state, and they can help you out. Unfortunately, I can't give like overarching things here in this video, but I do know that they can't discriminate about you during your pregnancy. So that's one thing that's good to know. Now, pro tip, when you are finally off of work, make sure that you're not just sitting around the house worrying or wondering when the baby's going to come. Try and stay active and busy. Get as much done around the house as you can. And also make sure that you're resting, because you deserve that. You are growing another human inside your body, and so you deserve some time to rest. But make sure that you're trying to stay active and doing things and not just sitting there wondering when baby's going to come, because that is not helping anyone. Okay, like I said before, kick counts are so important during pregnancy, so I'm going to put a video up here to help you guys make kick counts work for you during your pregnancy. Thanks so much for joining us here on The Pregnancy Nurse, where we get you prepared, not scared, for your upcoming hospital birth. And best of luck to you during your pregnancy.